North Carolina star and projected top 10 pick Caleb Wilson is out indefinitely with a fractured hand suffered in this week's loss at Miami. Norlander, you handled the headlines, CBSSports.com. These were your first 17 words. Yep. One of the most valuable freshmen in the sport may have played his last game in college. Good first sentence. Sucky thing to read. I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I hope this is not the last of it. Caleb Wilson, who I'm going to try. Have you noticed, by the way, this has happened multiple times, not to, like across sports.
It happens to me too. Yes.
Caleb
Same
Williams.
Thing.
Caleb Williams. So me as the Bears fan, I will try not to invoke Caleb Williams on the show. Caleb Wilson, because he is a projected top 5 pick. I think we have to allow for the possibility and given the nature of a broken hand, and that can vary. And you're talking to a fella here who does this show up well on the cam? You can see the wrist scar right there. That's a broken wrist basketball injury right here, GP. Circa 2002.
I got one too. I got one too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, broken this is wrist? Yes.
Surgery required? You got screws in this bad boy like I do?
Bro. Bike accident at the age of 12. You ready? Had to put me to sleep to reset my arm. Hand to heart, true story. I woke up through the anesthesia. My parents could hear me yelling in the waiting room. They could hear me yelling. I woke up in the middle of them resetting my arm.
That's atrocious. Oh my gosh. Well, we can get to Caleb Wilson.
We'll get back. Hey, we'll get to him in a minute. Let's talk about some old men non-basketball injuries.
When I broke this wrist, I broke it on a Friday night playing pickup hoops, and I was in pain, but I didn't know how much pain I was in. I wake up the next morning, and it's brutal. I go to the doctor. He just feels around, and it was so painful. It's the one time ever I have fainted from just the body went into shock. And I'll never forget it. It was the weirdest feeling ever. Anyway, that was a wrist, not a broken hand, but these things can take long times to recover from. And so how severe is the injury? They actually scanned him with an x-ray in Miami, didn't see anything. I was told MRI, follow-up Chapel Hill. The MRI is actually what revealed the fracture. And so given the timeline that could be in play, I mean, I'd love nothing more than to see him get back on the floor. He is one of the most joyous players to watch play. His battery runs so long. He plays so hard. He is the spiritual center of North Carolina's basketball team. And he tweeted on Thursday, he basically said, like, I'm going to be back. I can't wait to get back. Well, I hope that is the case, but it's a hand fracture. So we don't know. These sometimes can last months. He's also a top 5 pick. You know, who knows if it's I think if it's Caleb Wilson's decision, he's going to get back on the floor as soon as possible. But they're not going to let him get back until he's fully healthy. And then if he is healthy, when is that going to be? My prediction is that we will see him play for North Carolina again. But we have to allow for the possibility that he has played his last game in North Carolina, which would be just so unfortunate because I love watching him play. But also, and this is our opening poll here, so vote if you haven't already on the show. How is this going to affect Carolina's seeding in the tournament? We're about to see how it does against some real competition without Wilson on the floor, because I think it is a fair estimation, GP, that we will not see him play again until I think at least the ACC tournament. I think anything before that, maybe the absolute best case scenario, slap a cast on him. I'm not missing my opportunity, the one and only, to play at Duke after we beat him on our home floor. Maybe, but I don't know. What are your thoughts and I don't know, general expectations on what's in play here as we have a second high-profile freshman that unfortunately will be sitting many, many games, obviously joining Peterson's situation, which is entirely different.
Well, it's just a fracture. It's not flu-like symptoms. So, it's not flu-like symptoms. So it's just a fracture. So we're going to leave open the possibility that he could return at some point. It stinks. He's awesome. And reading through your story last night, you had a lot of little nuggets, I guess is what they would call it, from the TV side. He's awesome. I think if you follow college basketball even a little bit, you know that. He's been maybe more awesome than we realize. As you noted, 17 20-point games already. That's a UNC freshman record. Think about all the freshmen who have played in North Carolina. I don't have to go through them. You could probably think of some off the top of your head. Nobody's done what he's done already, and it's only February 13th. He has 66 dunks, you noted. That leads the nation. he's just been an awesome college basketball player. Maybe not one who gets the type of attention or who has received the type of attention that Cameron Boozer's received or Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa for a variety of reasons, among them that North Carolina hasn't been rocking and rolling in the top 5 or top 10 for much of the season. But individually, he has been incredible, all-American level, and I hope he heals as quickly as he can, because he does strike me as the type of person who is not just spending a year between high school and the NBA draft. Some of these guys are. I don't think he is. He wants to play basketball. He wants to be a Tar Heel. He wants to compete, and it stinks that that's been taken away from him at this moment, but I hope he gets it back.
So do I. And we'll wait and see on the progression, on the timeline there. Sooner the better. Obviously, get healthy. Let's hope this isn't his last game in the Carolina uniform. I do believe it is not. So we'll see. Now, as to replacing him, there is no replacing him. And Carolina fans are understandably concerned because they've seen this team. They know what it is capable of, at least to this point in the season. And it had that real bad spell for like 3 weeks where it was defensively atrocious. You take Wilson out of the mix, that's a problem. So I think Luka Bogovac will be the 5th starter now. And he has started some games already. I think the key player in all this is not someone like a Zayden High, who I think you can't, he hasn't played a ton, 7-footer. I don't think you can help but get him in the mix, because otherwise you're relying on, okay, so Visar, the starting 5, Jaron Stevenson will move to the 4. Then you have no other options than that. So it's either, and those guys can't play north of 35 minutes a game. So are you going to go with a 1 big man, 4 guard wing attack? Hard for me to see Carolina doing that. So you probably get Zayden High in the mix there. But I actually think that Derek Dixon is the guy to watch here. He has been a freshman who has greatly improved from the start of the season, and I think is going to be a key guy here. Like Seth Trimble as the leader now that Wilson, and he was a veteran leader to begin with. Yes, we know what his role is on the team. But Dixon, who's a quality shooter, good playmaker, he's the one who actually made the pass to Trimble, obviously, that we talked about last weekend to set up Trimble for the game winner against Duke. I just wonder if someone like him now has to elevate his game. It is going to be asking a lot for Carolina. This upcoming weekend should have no problems. I say should. Pitt at home, get it done, shouldn't be an issue. Then it's at NC State next Tuesday. That will be a tough one. At Syracuse, theoretically, Carolina should win, but when you don't have your best player and you're playing on the road and Syracuse isn't atrocious, that's where you can get into some trouble. Still, home games against Louisville and Clemson, and wrap at Duke. So if I'm a Carolina fan, there's also a home game against Virginia Tech, which is no gimme. We'll see if Virginia Tech can actually consistently play its way into the tournament field. Pitt, NC State, Q's, Ville, Vatech, Clemson, Duke. Those are your final 7 of the regular season. I am signing up for 4-3 right now. That gets me to 23-8. And in that scenario, you're still going to be a single-digit seed. You're not going to be where you thought you'd be with Caleb Wilson fully healthy, but that Caleb Wilson isn't healthy anymore. I would take 4-3. I think 5-2 is the best case scenario with this remaining schedule. Very interested to see, GP, how UNC adjusts and adapts without Wilson here. I now think that this is one of the 3 or 4 most must-watch teams over the next month, because I'm very curious just to see how they respond. Again, the Carolina fans watching and the diehard college basketball fans listening, they understand what Wilson meant to this team. But if you're the type of person who takes in the pod and you've seen Carolina play maybe 3 or 4 times this year, he is the center of everything they do. Everything they do. Now, Vesar's been awesome. Trimble's a good leader. Dixon's come on well, but it all flows through Wilson's ability, his presence on the floor, and this is a dagger here. I can't help but believe that Carolina is going to take a much worse seed than it would have had otherwise if he was available throughout the rest of the season.